It starts with just one photo. But that one photo, it's enough to put two massive careers on the brink of collapse. Today, we're digging into how a private meeting at a fancy resort blew up into a public firestorm. A firestorm that cost one of the NFL's top reporters her job and put a Super Bowl-winning coach right in the hot seat. This is the anatomy of a scandal, where the line between a personal life and professional ruin completely disappears.
You know, most stories start at the beginning. We're going to start at the end. Because this quote, this isn't from some victory speech or great article. Nope, this is from a resignation letter. These are the words of a star NFL reporter, Dianna Russini, right as she was basically forced out of her job. And this one sentence, it just perfectly captures the absolute devastation that was coming.
So how does something like this even happen? How does it all unravel so fast? Well, it really boils down to three key things. First, you've got a handful of, let's just say, compromising photos. Then, you've got two huge names in the NFL world, and finally, you have a social media wildfire that just threatened to burn down everything they had ever worked for.
Okay, so to really get how this thing exploded, we have to go back to the very beginning, to the spark that lit the fuse. Let's dig into the evidence that started this whole mess, the Arizona photos.
So the setting for all this? A high-end, luxury resort in Sedona, the kind of place you go for privacy, for discretion. And the irony here is just wow. Because what happened here would become one of the most public stories of the year.
And who are the main players? We've got Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel and veteran NFL reporter Dianna Russini. And here it is, the detail that turns a simple meeting into a full-blown scandal. Both of them are married to other people.
Let's walk through the timeline of what eyewitnesses say went down on March 28th. It starts at 10:15 in the morning. Breakfast together, and the report says they were alone. Then, in the afternoon, they're spotted at the pool, even lounging right next to each other in a hot tub. And by the evening, they're seen hugging, even dancing for a bit as the sun went down.
But look, it wasn't just what people saw. It was how they were acting. Eyewitnesses described this like deliberate effort to go incognito, to try and avoid being seen together.
People said one of them would walk ahead and the other would hang back. As one source put it, they really didn't want to be seen walking together. I mean, that alone just adds this thick layer of suspicion to the whole thing, right?
But of course, the second these photos hit the internet, the story just fractured into two completely different versions of reality. This is where the real battle, the battle for the narrative, truly began.
Okay, let's break it down. On one side, you have the eyewitnesses alleging this secret, private rendezvous. But on the other side, you have Vrabel and Russini saying, no, this was a group thing. They claim they were with a group of 6, and that their friends just happened to not be in the pictures. It was all just a completely innocent interaction. So, who do you believe?
Dianna Russini's defense was pretty straightforward. Hey, this is just part of the job. She argued that this is what journalists do. They meet sources outside of stadiums and team facilities all the time. From her perspective, this was just business as usual.
Coach Vrabel came out swinging even harder. He just shut it all down, flat out. He called the whole interaction completely innocent and said any other suggestion was laughable. A very firm, very aggressive denial.
But here's the thing about the internet. Denials don't always stop a tidal wave. Online, this story just exploded. And the real world's consequences? They were fast and they were brutal.
Get this, just 17 days. 17 days after the photos leaked, Dianna Russini was gone. She resigned from her powerhouse job at The Athletic, and the word is it was right in the middle of a company investigation into the whole incident.
Vrabel, on the other hand, had to stand in front of the cameras. He kind of dodged the direct questions about Russini, but he did admit the whole scandal had taken a serious personal toll, forcing him to have some difficult conversations at home.
His public message was all about damage control. He promised his family, the Patriots organization, that they would get the best version of him from now on. It was a clear signal that he just wanted to put this whole chapter behind him for good.
But, moving on, not so simple. That first story from Page 6 was shared over 27,000 times. Think about that. This wasn't just another piece of sports news, it became a viral sensation. It was a national conversation playing out in real time on everyone's feed.
So, why should any of us really care about a story involving two people we might not even know? Well, because this goes so much deeper than just gossip.
This is a perfect window into some of the most powerful forces that are shaping our world right now. Honestly, this whole scandal is like a perfect storm. It shows us the absolutely terrifying power one single photo can have in the age of social media. It peels back the curtain on the very complicated and, let's be honest, sometimes compromised relationship between reporters and the powerful people they cover. It proves, without a doubt, that the court of public opinion is faster and more ruthless than any official investigation. And maybe the biggest takeaway? For public figures, that wall between their private lives and their professional lives, it's pretty much crumbled to dust.
And all of this leaves us with one big, unsettling question. In a world where every single phone is a camera and every social media user is a publisher, where do we draw the line? When does a private moment become a public scandal? And in the end, who gets to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner?